My name is Jean. I live with my husband, Alex. Alex generally doesn't do household chores and treats me as if I'm his maid. I work part-time, though. Hey, could you possibly cook dinner today? When I ask Alex, huh? Why? He looks at me as if he doesn't understand at all. Looks like we're short-staffed today and I might have to work overtime. Can you cook dinner for a change? What are you whining about? I'm the one who brings home the bacon, right? It's only natural that you do all the housework. Alex responds in a domineering manner as if to say he's superior, and so I end up not being able to say anything. Then, one day, "Hey there, I'm home," a man suddenly entered, calling out energetically. It was my brother-in-law, Mike. What? Mike? What? Why are you here? What are you talking about? This is my house. Our conversation was just not matching up. He seemed to mistakenly believe that this was his parents' house. Oh, if it's not my folks' place, you should have just told me that. I had told him that from the start. Well, since you're here, make yourself at home. My husband, Alex, made a surprising statement. Wait a minute. Why are you accepting this so easily? Although I protested, my husband didn't listen. And so our life with Mike began. But this brother-in-law, he's an incredibly rude man. Hey, Jean, I'm helping myself to the beer in the fridge. What? I was shocked. He had just helped himself to the fridge, as if it were his own home. When do you plan on leaving? It's already been 3 days. What? It's only been 3 days? Let me stay a bit longer. Does he not understand that we don't want him here? Mike responded with a nonchalant smile. But that beer is Alex's, so... Huh? Then why don't you buy some more? That's not the point. I wanted to say that, but it seemed like whatever I would say would just be brushed off, so I had no choice but to stay silent. Hey, when is your brother planning to leave? Since he didn't seem to have any intention of leaving, I decided to ask Alex. Then, huh? What are you talking about? My brother isn't leaving anytime soon. What? It seems that Mike had a falling out with his parents and didn't want to return home. He had mistakenly thought that this was his parents' house, but perhaps he pretended to mistake it on purpose. Anyway, where's my beer? Well, it's gone. Mike drank it. What? What's with that? Go buy some more right now. Alex became irrationally angry, and I had no choice but to go buy beer. Just as I was about to leave the house, "Oh, Jean, if you're going shopping, get some snacks too. Why don't you buy it yourself?" Nah, it's just a hassle. As a housewife, you should buy it. Does he think I'm his servant or something? He seems to look down on me with an utterly lax attitude. Please, enough is enough. Such rude behavior. I just can't ignore it. Huh? What, are you standing up to me? Mike, my brother-in-law, suddenly gave off a menacing aura as soon as I stood up to him. Look, I'm not saying I want to stay here forever. You understand that I'm just asking to crash here for a bit, right? But shut up, no buts. Just when I felt like I was losing to Mike's pressure. Hey, what's going on? Why are you arguing? Well, because Mike refuses to leave our home. So what? It's fine if you don't leave, bro. What? Does Alex actually not mind having Mike around? But he's even drinking your beers, you know. Well, you can just buy some more, can't you? Alex said with a matter-of-fact expression. Mike chimed in with, Right. Fine, I'll do as you wish. I've had enough. Exhausted from the argument, I decided to just silently go buy the beer. This attitude of mine seemed to have worsened things as Mike's behavior became more and more obnoxious. Hey, beer. That was Mike's voice. Do you really think you'll get a beer talking to me like that? Huh? What? Are you defying me? Before I knew it, a month had passed since Mike came to our house. Mike had become as dictatorial towards me as a bad husband. Well, isn't there a certain manner in which you're supposed to ask favors from others? Huh? What? Are you, a mere housewife, trying to tell me how to behave? He went so far as to belittle me as a mere housewife. It really seems that Mike looks down on me completely. Hey, Jean, I'm off to play golf, so you two have fun. I hear Alex's voice from the entrance. Wait a minute! Alone with Mike? Yeah, so what? Is there a problem? There's a big problem. Given Mike's recent behavior, it's obvious he's going to pull something. At least go play golf with Mike. I don't want to be alone with him. He doesn't do golf. Ignoring my plea, Alex went off to play golf. That's kind of hurtful. So you don't want to be with me that much? Mike approaches, smirking. But when are you going to leave this house? It's like you're treating me as a servant. Not like. You are my servant. He finally said it. I'm single after all. I've always wanted a servant like this. He seems to genuinely believe that a housewife is a servant. What a terrible man. I'm not a servant. I'm a proper housewife. What's the difference? Anyway, bring me some snacks. Hurry up. Mike orders while relaxing in the living room. Truly outraged, I ignored him. Mike threw an ashtray. Fortunately, it didn't hit me, but it did shatter the glass on the shelf. Hey, who do you think is in charge here? You're getting a bit too cheeky, aren't you? I felt in danger with his anger unresolved. Reluctantly, I brought him snacks, along with a new beer. Perfect. This is the life I've always wanted. He was completely in the mood of a master of the house. I was afraid that if I did something to offend him, he would throw the ashtray again. All I could do was wait for Alex to come home in fear. I'm home. After several hours, Alex finally returned. Oh, Alex, I was so scared. Normally he's a bit of a domineering husband, but I thought he would be reliable in times like this. However, whoa, what happened to this room? It's a mess. Alex prioritized commenting on the state of the room over listening to me. Well, Mike, he threw an ashtray and I was scared. I tried to explain what I had gone through, but, what's that? The ashtray didn't hit you, did it? Then it's no big deal, right? I couldn't believe it. Would any normal person say that when their wife might have been seriously hurt? Hey, welcome home. Your wife trashed the room. What? Incredibly, Mike was blaming me for the mess in the room. What? It was you. Why are you blaming my brother? No, it's not like that. I desperately insisted I wasn't to blame. But Alex, maybe because he was drunk, wouldn't listen to me at all. In the end, I was scolded to take care of things and to take care of Mike. Drunk Alex was very troublesome and kept repeating the same things. If I didn't at least pretend to listen, he would get grumpy and start causing a ruckus. So no matter how tired I was, I had no choice but to listen to Alex's lectures. Whew, I'm tired. About 2 hours after Alex came home, finally Alex's lectures were over. But I was completely worn out. Even so, Alex mercilessly asked me, "So, what's for dinner?" He said, No, didn't you eat out?" "Why would I eat out? You mean you haven't prepared anything?" I had just been scolded for 2 hours. How could he possibly think I had cooked? Ugh, you're so useless. You're really a failure as a housewife. And he even negated my worth as a person. What on earth had I done to deserve this? You're getting scolded. This is hilarious. Mike was just snickering from the sidelines. Maybe these brothers just love tormenting people. In the end, no matter how tired I was, I cooked for Alex and Mike. They even complained that the food was bad, so there was no salvation for me. Finally, reaching my limit, I decided to address Alex again. Hey, when is Mike going to go home? He's not going to stay here forever, is he? Not that again. He clearly looked annoyed. Maybe I chose the wrong time to bring it up. What's with you? Don't you care about my brother? To be honest, I didn't care. After all, he just showed up at our house and started tormenting me. Just living with such a person was driving me to the brink. You know I've been having a rough time, don't you? How can you just ignore that? I couldn't help but ask Alex that. Look, everyone has stress, you know. Just as he opened his mouth, Alex said something outrageous. Mike is particularly stressed, so he has to use you as a punching bag. I couldn't understand what he was saying at all. Punching bag? Me? Why? When I asked Alex this, he said, because clearly in this house, you're the best fit to be a punching bag. You should be honored. You get to be Mike's punching bag. Despite the fact that I didn't want that at all, he spoke as if I did. I shouted, I don't want that at Alex, but he just said without hesitation, "It's not about what you want or don't want. You're a punching bag. Punching bags don't have will, do they?" Alex said it with such conviction. It was clear he meant it. And when I thought about it, Alex had been abusing me for a while now, yelling at me for no reason, even physically hurting me at times. You're cruel," I muttered, tears welling up in my eyes. But even seeing me cry, Alex didn't seem to feel anything. Oh, what a hassle. Women always think crying will solve everything. Cry all you want. I'm not going to do anything. Now, go buy me a beer. Again with the beer. He doesn't care about my feelings at all. Enough is enough. I can't take it anymore, I shouted, surprising even myself. Alex looked surprised, but he continued to berate me. "Why are you even mad? You have a problem with me and my brother? If you don't like it here, why don't you leave? This is my house, so you're the one who should leave." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Leave? Me? And his brother is not the problem? Even when I asked for clarification, all Alex would say is, "Yes, you should leave." That's crazy. Why should Mike get to stay when he's the one who came later? He's my brother, right? And you're just a stranger who isn't blood related to me. A stranger who isn't blood related. I never thought I would be treated horribly like this by my husband, whom I married out of love. Something inside of me shuddered at his words. What? Are you shocked? If you hate it so much, just leave. You can divorce me too. Alex continued to taunt me as I stood there in disbelief. Was he really considering divorce? It seems that Mike is more important to him than I am. That night, we both decided to go to bed without saying anything else. But I couldn't sleep. The cruel words Alex had said playing over and over in my mind. Leave, divorce. Was I the only one who thought we were in love? I suddenly felt very sad. Perhaps my feelings were unreciprocated. After a good cry that soaked my pillow, I made a decision and went to sleep. A few days passed after that incident. Alex called me. "Hey, where are you? Where did you go early in the morning? You just noticed? It's been a few days since I left." "I didn't care if you were gone. I was eating instant noodles, but I've run out. Make me some food." I thought he could just keep eating instant noodles for the rest of his life. He sounded quite flustered, raising his voice. Having no choice, I calmly replied, "Well, I've started living alone." "What? You're living alone?" He seemed genuinely surprised. "There was a studio apartment available right away. I signed the lease on the spot. I'll have the movers send my stuff later." "What the hell are you thinking? Make dinner for me and Mike." "Why should I? You were the one who told me to leave." "No, that was, Alex tried to speak firmly, but his voice gradually faltered. Of course it would. His own words were contradicting each other. "Anyway, come back home. This is a husband's order." Even so, Alex tried hard to maintain his strong tone and yelled at me. However, strangely enough, I wasn't scared of Alex anymore. Why do I have to come back? There's nothing but unpleasant things for me if I return. When I said that, Alex replied, "Whether it's unpleasant or not doesn't matter. You're a servant in this house." Again with the servant comment. I wonder if those brothers really think I have no human rights. I was too flabbergasted to say anything, so I decided to tell him about my decision. "Alex, I've decided to do as you said." "What? What are you talking about?" "I'm getting a divorce." "What? A divorce?" He seemed very surprised. It's strange. Why is he so shocked when he was the one who brought up the topic of divorce? "Don't be ridiculous. There's no way I'm getting a divorce. I refuse." He seems unwilling to lose a convenient housekeeper, but his obnoxious behavior won't shake my resolve. "It's you and your brother's fault. It's because you've oppressed me this whole time. I've been holding back all this time." Perhaps realizing I was serious, Alex's voice began to tremble. "Hey, you're joking, right? Are you seriously going to get a divorce? I'll go to your parents and convince them." "What good would that do? I already talked to them. They won't listen to you." "What?" He seemed quite panicked. He should have just kicked out his brother and changed his ways. "Come on, please reconsider. My brother says he's sorry." I thought to myself, these are the kinds of people who only say things when they're in a pinch. There's no way I could trust their words of regret. I'm sorry, but I can't trust a word you say. I will never forget what you've done, nor do I intend to forgive it." Hearing this, Alex became even more flustered. "Wait, please, I'm begging you." He didn't kick his brother out when I pleaded with him. The more we talked, the more pathetic Alex seemed. "Goodbye. We have nothing more to discuss." Wait, let's talk this out. Please, don't go through with the divorce." I proceeded with the divorce process through my lawyer, and it was successfully finalized. Alex and his brother ended up having a big fight over who would do the housework. Two grown men fighting full out. They both ended up in the hospital. After all they've done to me, they got what they deserved. Now, even though I'm single, my life is much easier than when I was with Alex. I wish I had left him sooner.
My husband constantly invites friends over every week and pushes me around even though I'm pregnant. His friends also act as if this is the norm. One day, my husband Nick handed me a sleeping bag and said, "You can sleep here." And I was ousted to the kitchen. I can't take it anymore. If you want to have a good time with your friends, I have my own ideas too. By the time they realize who's arrived, they'll be in for a shock. My name is Emma. My husband Nick is a former colleague from my company. We met at a toy company aimed at young children. He was always surrounded by friends, a sociable person with a wide circle of acquaintances. Being introverted, I admired Nick's sociability. So when he asked me out, I was pleasantly surprised despite not expecting it. Once I started dating Nick, I realized that despite seeming flamboyant, he was actually frugal and responsible. Surprisingly, we spent many of our dates at home relaxing. "Nick, you're always hanging out with various people, aren't you? I thought you'd prefer to go out more for dates." When I mentioned this, he responded with slight awkwardness. "So you saw me like that? Actually, I don't really like to waste money. I usually just go along with eating out or drinking with others, but I really prefer relaxing at home." "I see. I myself prefer staying home, watching movies or cooking together, rather than going out." I was happy to see this unexpected side of him, a side he only showed to me. Gradually, I began to see him as a potential husband. He seemed to feel the same way, and a year into our relationship, Nick proposed to me. Even after getting married, Nick remained popular, often being invited to social gatherings by his colleagues. However, I was growing wary of him going out drinking every week. "Hey, I'd like to spend some weekends with you too." As I expressed my feelings, he responded while scratching his head. "Yeah, you're right. My bad. From now on, I'll just drink at home. That way, you won't be lonely, right? I want you to get along with my friends too." That's not exactly what I meant. Still, I couldn't say no to Nick. Since then, his friends and colleagues began to visit our home every weekend to drink. "Hey, Nick's wife, more beer, please." "Emma, we're out of snacks." Among his friends, there was a female contract worker named Sandy who didn't show any signs of helping out. I was run ragged by preparing drinks and snacks, never resting even over the weekend. Nick was completely oblivious to my state. "Guys, don't worry about catching the last train home tonight. Let's party till dawn." "Oh, that's what we were waiting for. You're the best, Nick." Not worrying about the last train? Could it be? As I thought, they partied late into the night and ended up staying over. And when they woke up late in the morning, they would demand as if it was a given. "Got anything to eat? Something easy on a hangover would be good," he said. So my weekend ended without any rest. But if I complained about the situation, Nick would surely just go out to drink. When I was wondering what to do, I found out I was pregnant. When I announced my pregnancy, Nick was overjoyed. "Really? That's great. So, I'm finally going to be a dad. That's right. I have to report this to everyone right away." Without giving me a chance to stop him, Nick messaged them. "Emma, everyone is happy for us and they want to celebrate. They're coming over this weekend." True to his words, his friends flocked to our house over the weekend and started partying harder than ever. They're here to celebrate, so I guess it can't be helped. Initially, I thought so and accepted it, but I was completely tired of them who kept showing up week after week. Hey Nick, I'm happy they want to celebrate, but I'm having morning sickness and it's hard, so I want you to stop inviting people over. When I complained to Nick, he responded with dissatisfaction.
What are you talking about? Wasn't it you, Emma, who said, "I'm lonely, I want to drink at home"?
I told you not to go out drinking. I never said I wanted you to drink at home.
But I can't just leave you alone at home and go out drinking while you're pregnant. What if something happens while I'm gone?
Could it be that he's worried about me and drinking at home for my sake? When I thought about that, I found it hard to be too forceful. But every week is a bit too much.
Alright. But right now, everyone is just trying to celebrate our baby. We can't just ignore their feelings, right?
Having been told that, I had no choice but to concede. I understand, but I'm having morning sickness, so I don't think I can prepare much food or snacks. I don't want to carry heavy stuff either, so will you handle the drinks, Nick?
Of course. Just do what you can, Emma.
Relieved by his words, I got through another weekend. Today again, their friends came to their house like they're used to.
Hey ma'am, I brought beer. I'll put it here. Please keep it cool.
Okay.
And also, these are ingredients for food. You don't have to cook anything fancy.
It seemed Nick had told them something as the friends started bringing drinks and food one after another. But they only brought things. The actual task of fetching drinks from the refrigerator or making snacks was still left to me.
Hey, Nick's wife, can you bring us the beer from the fridge?
Emma, we need more snacks, please. In the end, I had to do the cooking. I knew that talking to Nick would be pointless. So I gently told them, actually, I've been having really bad morning sickness lately, and that's why I've taken a leave of absence from work, so... I was about to say that I wanted them to refrain from coming to our house in the future. But, laughing, the friends responded to my words. Exactly! I heard about it at work. Emma, you're on leave, right? Then you have to work for Nick at least on weekends.
Right, pregnancy isn't a sickness, so it's better if you move around a bit.
Misunderstanding something, my feelings didn't get through at all, and the friends started to take advantage of me even more. I had thought they wouldn't stay the night, but deep into the night, Nick and his colleagues didn't slow down their drinking. As I expected, they continued to drink past the subway time, got completely drunk, and were no longer in a state to return home. I was too tired to get angry anymore. When I tried to talk to Nick and then retired to the bedroom, Sandy, a contract employee, was already sleeping in our bed. I urgently appealed to him. Nick, Sandy's sleeping in our bed.
Oh, she got pretty wasted, so I carried her to the bed.
I can't believe it. I want to rest too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just wait a bit.
I thought he was going to wake Sandy up and get her off the bed, but instead, Nick came back with a sleeping bag.
You should sleep here for tonight.
Saying that, Nick started setting up the sleeping bag in the corner of the kitchen. Whoa, wait a second. You're telling me I'm sleeping here? And in a sleeping bag?
Well, we're still drinking in the living room, so this is the only place, right? I'm glad I brought this camping sleeping bag, haha.
Called by his friends, Nick returned to the living room with more drinks in his hands. With no choice, I spent the night in an uncomfortable sleeping bag. The next morning, I was awakened by a knock from Sandy. Hey, Emma, how long are you going to sleep? It's already 11 a.m., you know. Sorry, I had trouble falling asleep last night. After a night in an unfamiliar sleeping bag and on the hard kitchen floor, I managed to fall asleep only when dawn broke. I only managed to doze off, and I'm not feeling refreshed at all. Regardless, Sandy continued. Hey, I'm hungry. Don't we have anything for breakfast? Oh, thanks to someone's oversleeping, it's more like brunch now, haha. Wake me up when it's ready, okay? She said, and then went back to our bedroom. With a fuzzy head, I went to the living room where Nick and his friends were passed out drunk. The table was littered with the remnants of their food and drinks. It seems I'm the one who will have to clean up this mess. As I was making a soup grudgingly, the smell attracted Nick and his friends.
Oh, soup, huh? Nice.
Sandy also came to the living room and started stuffing herself with rice, soup, and omelet. His friends too seemed to have become quite cheerful.
Yesterday was so fun, man. I don't feel like going home today either.
I get that. It's a long weekend after all. Let's have a second celebration. Instead of refusing, Nick said,
Thanks for doing this for us.
He even expressed his gratitude. It looks like it's up to me to be the one to say no. Well, everyone, I've understood your feelings well enough, so it's not necessary for you to celebrate so many times. The room fell silent for a moment at my stern words. Sensing this, Nick quickly addressed everyone.
That's right, let's invite others today. They said they were busy and couldn't come yesterday, right?
At his words, the friends quickly got their spirits back.
Nick, that's a brilliant idea.
They were also wanting to celebrate again. Noticing my dissatisfaction, Nick addressed me sternly.
Emma, what's with that attitude since a while ago? It's rude to everyone, isn't it? I thought you'd be anxious being alone as a pregnant woman, so I'm holding back from going out drinking. They're all caring for me who can't go out drinking, and have taken the trouble to come to our house, you know?
The friends also agreed with Nick's opinion. Holding back from drinking for the sake of his wife, Nick really cares about his wife, but it will suffocate if you keep holding back too much. We have to take a breather like this about once a week. We're always ready to accompany you. That's right. There are not many good husbands like Nick. We'll come every week if necessary.
Thanks for covering for my wife's selfishness, everyone.
Encouraged by everyone, Nick didn't seem entirely displeased. Everyone's covering for my selfishness? Is this kind of drinking party going to continue every week from now on? That's ridiculous. Finally, I snapped at Nick's words. Got it. Then can I invite someone too? As I said that, Nick nodded in relief.
Yeah, you can invite whoever you want. It's more fun when there are many people.
Hearing that, I immediately made a phone call to a certain place. In the afternoon, another friend of Nick's arrived.
I didn't think everyone was drinking 2 days in a row. Thanks for the invite, Nick. Likewise, thank you for celebrating for us. Let's drink to our heart's content today.
Then the doorbell rang again.
Oh, looks like the person Emma invited is here too. Should I get the door?
Opening the front door, Nick was taken aback.
But boss, why are you here?
I hurriedly headed to the entrance to welcome the visitor. Uncle, I've been waiting for you.
Uncle?
Indeed, the man I called to our home on the phone was the head of our department at the company. To the surprised Nick and his friends, I explained the situation. This man is an old friend of my father. He has loved me as his own daughter since the day I was born.
But Emma, you never mentioned this before.
Nick interjected, sweating nervously.
He didn't show any signs of this at the wedding or at the company, even as head of the department.
Well, if the other employees heard that the boss was doting on me, they would find it hard to work, wouldn't they? At my words, the boss added,
I have also been sternly told by Emma not to be overly familiar in public. I've never been able to outsmart her. As a man without children of my own, Emma is like a precious daughter to me.
The boss, suddenly serious, turned to Nick and said this.
This precious Emma has come to me for help when she's in trouble. That's why I came here. What seems to be the issue? What? We haven't done anything to trouble Emma, right guys?
As Nick said this, everyone else hastily nodded in agreement. Immediately I addressed them. Right, making a pregnant woman like me prepare late night snacks and breakfast, making me sleep in a sleeping bag. You don't think anything of it, do you, Nick? Upon hearing my words, the boss was furious.
Nick, are you treating Emma this way? It's just that everyone said they wanted to celebrate our pregnancy, so I couldn't refuse.
Suddenly being blamed, the friends hastily started to explain.
No, sir. We only accepted Nick's request because he said he couldn't go out drinking due to his wife.
Then the boss put an end to the disgraceful attempt to evade responsibility.
Shut up! It's outrageous to have a drinking party overnight in a house with a pregnant woman and let her sleep in the kitchen. Do you think that's appropriate for our company, a toy manufacturer targeting young children? We're very sorry. We'll excuse ourselves now.
The friends, startled by the boss's anger, quickly gathered their things and hurried to leave. Seeing their reactions, the boss shouted again.
Hey, are you going to make Emma clean up? Clean up the mess you've made for yourselves before you leave.
Being glared at by the boss, they started cleaning up the cluttered living room and doing the dishes. When the house was all tidied up, they left as if they were fleeing. Amidst all that, the boss called a halt to Sandy.
Sandy, I want you to stay behind for a bit.
Me? After her friends left, the boss questioned a visibly uncomfortable Nick and Sandy.
Do you know why I asked Sandy to stay?
Nick, though flustered, denied it.
No. What are you talking about? It's about the rumors between you, Nick, and Sandy. There's been talk within the company that you two have been having an affair. That's a misunderstanding.
With Nick desperately denying it, the boss lowered his tone.
I had heard about Emma being pregnant and thought the rumors were baseless. I wanted that shouldn't be the case, but you disappointed me.
The boss showed an email image sent by someone from the company. It contained images of Nick and Sandy entering a fancy restaurant and coming out of a brand store carrying shopping bags. It turns out Nick was not thrifty, he was just stingy with me. In fact, I had suspicions about his relationship with Sandy and mentioned my concerns to the boss. Upon hearing this, the boss immediately contacted several employees who had witnessed the two and provided photographs as evidence.
No, boss, this is,
Exactly, there's nothing between Nick and me. Even when confronted with evidence, their pathetic excuses disgusted me. I hesitated at the thought of our baby growing up without a father, but if the father is someone who can casually invite his affair partner into our home, it's better if he isn't around. I told Nick on the spot that I wanted a divorce. I've had enough of your selfish excuses. Nick and I are getting a divorce. You two can do whatever you want.
What about our baby in your belly?
You who let our child sleep in a sleeping bag on the kitchen floor, worried about our child? What are you saying now?
But...
There's no but. You who cheated don't get a say. My conditions are asset division and child support.
How much is it going to be?
Who knows? You've done enough to deserve it, haven't you?
Emma, reconsider.
Shut up. I'm done being patient. Go have your parties with your friends for the rest of your life, you man-child. After that, the house became mine through property division. I made him agree to pay child support as well. The boss was present for all the discussion, so Nick reluctantly agreed to my terms. After the divorce, Nick left the house and moved in with Sandy. Rumors of them living together quickly spread within the company, and their affair became public knowledge. Because their bad reputation also negatively affected the clients, it seems Sandy was fired and Nick was demoted. As the reason for the contract termination reached the temp agency, Sandy was unable to find a new placement. Nick also suffered a major salary cut due to his demotion. Sandy, now jobless, and Nick, who's stretched thin by monthly child support payments, they have no wiggle room in their lives and are now forced to live a very frugal life. They are always fighting about money, and though they both want to break up, they are forced to stick together because neither of them has the funds to live alone. On the other hand, with the support of my family and the boss, I was able to give birth safely. Afterwards, the boss introduced me to a man, leading to a remarriage. As I created a new family, I've never been happier.